Welcome to Mayor's Minute on castanet.net. I'm Dustin Godfrey, and as usual, I'm joined by Mayor Andrew Jakubeit. Welcome.
Thank you.
City Council has ordered staff to develop a tool to kind of determine how best to manage its community investment. I guess first off, can you give us a little bit of an explainer as to what that tool is going to be looking like?
Yeah, well, I think I just recently this week sort of gave an example of the Penmar Society sort of defaulting on what the city advanced them. And, you know, I just circle back a couple of years ago when the Penn High Auditorium got torn down. There certainly was a need for from the community about a performing arts center. And so we had one group saying, hey, you can build a $30 million project, and then the Penmar Society came along and said, hey, what if we refurbished the old Penmar Theatre and made that a 600-seat performing arts center? And certainly wasn't maybe not as much glitz and glamour as a $30 million one would be, but it certainly would have been an intermediate step to having another established performing arts center here. And so there were a lot of prominent businesses and people in the community who rallied behind that. The city, we have a community amenity fund that we are going to use to sort of backstop a loan for the society to get chairs and projectors and those sorts of things. And so, you know, they bought about 50 grand worth of chairs and projectors, and we had advanced them about $60,000. And then, you know, long story short, the project was a bit more overwhelming than they had money coming in, and they basically walked away from it. And so we took those assets back. And last week at council, we talked about what do we do with these assets now, and basically directed staff to try to dispose of those assets so we can recoup some of the money that got put forth, and that and along just finishing our budget cycle with the grants, we have asked staff to really look at how we invest in our community, whether it is a grant or a loan or any other sort of variations of that. And I think the framework is going to be, we'll start by categorizing whether it's sports or arts or culture or social, seniors, youth, whatever. Then is this a one-time thing? Is this a development, like a 1 to 3 year sort of fund to get something off the ground? Or is this going to require annual funding because it's a core thing for the community? And you know, just like the Penmar, they had a business case, but I think we have to have a bit more business case and rationale and due diligence, and I think a bit more maybe oversight along the process will help mitigate and reduce risk, and that's sort of what we're looking to do. We're certainly not in the banking industry, but obviously a lot of people look to the city to help fund, especially if you're a nonprofit or a volunteer organization. You really need the community to rally behind you, and we need these volunteer groups and nonprofits to be able to spearhead and champion things that are going to be of benefit for the community.
Sure. But I guess looking at the Penmar, you mentioned that there are risks, and obviously the Penmar was a little bit more of a risk than the city had initially thought. I mean, it seems like it's difficult to tell what's going to pass and what's going to fail. So, I mean, what really can the city learn from this?
I think a bit more oversight. So, you know, typically in the past, if something gets approved, there's a resolution, and, you know, our accounting office will sign off a check or provide the in-kind, and off the society or group goes and does what they need to do. Where if there's a bit more oversight, maybe it mitigates the risk. And, you know, I understand, you know, because you could have said, well, why don't you wait till the theater's reconfigured or rebuilt, then get the projector, then get the seats. And I think the seats, they found a deal, and so they wanted to jump on that deal because I think they're just under $100, but normally they're 2 and 3 times more of that. So they wanted to capitalize on that savings. So that's sort of sometimes the rub in terms of jumping on it early. And, you know, I guess hindsight's always 20/20, so you just sort of look back and see what we could do differently. But I think a bit more oversight. We don't want to sit there and micromanage things either. But I think if you're going to get funding from the city, then you need to expect a little bit of oversight, and that's something we need to do a bit more diligently, I think, in the future.
Yeah, thank you. That's been another edition of Mayor's Minute on castanet.net. If you've got thoughts on this subject, you can send it to letters@castanet.net. If you've got a topic you'd like to put to the mayor, you can send it straight to me at godfrey@castanet.net. For Castanet News, I'm Dustin Godfrey, and as usual, joined by Mayor Andrew Jakubeit.